And built, you know, I'll be like, of course, I'll help you. There you go. Very talented. Yeah, that was stand up, all about. All right, morning. How's everybody doing today? We're going to get started off with something just exciting that everyone here should be so happy that the May sales meeting, the question is another housing bubble about to take place? Who thinks we are at the beginning point of a possibility of a housing bubble? Raise your hand. 2, 3. We'll see. I'm going to give you guys some information. Do you think if we were at the beginning of a housing bubble, if I felt that, would I be putting that up here as our primary topic? Probably not. That's your clue there. So I'm a positive person. But there are some things that you guys need to know and share. We're going to talk about some FMLS and MLS statistics. We're going to talk about a lot. My whole goal is that you turn and start sharing this information. We talk about it, have you more educated than the other people, and you win more business that way. We're going to start off by thanking Ryland at Marketplace Commons for being here. So thank them for the wonderful breakfast that they had. Gift cards and stuff, and they said the person that claps the loudest is the one that's coming. That's what we said. So we got Mark. So we've got Mark and we've got Elizabeth. That's going to talk about Marketplace Commons. So let's give it up for Ryland. Hope we get enough food. Hope we got enough for you. Beautiful day out. Happy to have you be here. I hope you guys will get a little bit from what I'm saying. It's probably going to be additional questions, so certainly always feel free to reach out to me. My name's Mark Urell. This is Elizabeth Odell. We're over at a neighborhood called Marketplace Commons. I gave you both a price list type matrix looking flyer, as well as a list of the quick moving homes. I'm going to highlight the quick moving home component because I think you'll find that valuable. We've got 7 homes that are either half built or about to start that can be finished by the end of the year at the latest, in several cases in the next month or two. That if you've got someone that's looking, they all have a $3,500 agent bonus. So we are located not too far from you here, about 2 minutes up the road. So if you went Ronald Reagan north toward all the shopping there at Marketplace Boulevard, kind of get to the end of the road, shopping there where the Best Buy is, kind of give you a landmark. There's a big billboard there. Make a right turn on Beaufort Dam Road, and you'll run right into us on the right. You'll start to see new homes being built kind of, within a block or two of turning the corner. So we're about 3 miles or so from the lake, right on Beaufort Dam Road. We're in the city of Cumming, obviously Forsyth County, so we've got the good schools, the low taxes, all the things you guys know all about. Really bottom line, to make it a little relevant and give you a little perspective, you probably have started to notice that land in this area has gotten to be very expensive, and there's not as much under 4 anymore. We start in the low 3s, even with a basement could be mid to upper 3s, which is hard to find, especially with a well-equipped home and a good quality building. And I'm not just saying that because I'm partial to Ryland, but I think you all know Ryland's got a good reputation, and we work hard at it. So, whether it's from an energy efficiency standpoint, or whether it's just from a good quality, well-designed home standpoint. I always say if you've got a well-built home with better quality materials and it's a well-designed floor plan, it's a very powerful package, and we've got a very convenient location. So I'm thinking it'll be relevant because we've got a ranch, we've got a dual master suite type home for like a multi-generational family. Some of these things are harder to find. We've got homes anywhere from just over 2,000 square feet to as large as 4,000 square feet without including any basement space. Our model home design has a third level, so there are opportunities with some of the plans to add a third level, kind of replace the basement. It's a finished component where you've got a kind of a man cave and a bathroom, that kind of thing. It could be used in a myriad of ways. So there's some creative ways to keep the budget down. We've got plans without formal living and formal dining as well as with. So if you've got folks that maybe aren't finding what they're looking for out there, they're either not comfortable with how the home's equipped or the way the space is utilized. We hear this all the time, that they just can't find it. You know, there's limited inventory out there. So I would like to help you make your job easier so you don't have to struggle as much, one, to find them things. We've got 9 different plans, so, you know, if we don't have it, it's gonna be that much tougher to find it out there because we really have quite a breadth of what we can do. So if you want to reach out to me, my name and number, email, etc., is in the upper left corner on both forms. And again, the sheet that gives just brief descriptions on them to make sure everything fit on one page. All those homes that can qualify for that $3,500 agent bonus to close by the end of the year. And I put the timelines on them, and some of them are even sooner. As well, obviously, we have the opportunity to build. So if someone either just has a unique situation, we don't happen to have it handy, they want a ranch, for instance, or they need a home with a basement with certain components or certain color schemes, and obviously we can build as well. We've got swing tennis, a kids play area, all within the community, kind of a cabana type building. It's got an outdoor pavilion with fireplace, things like that. So it's about 95% finished. We're putting in the landscaping now, so it's nearly complete. We'll have 131 homes. The model home has been open about 7 months. We've already sold 40. So it's actually, it sells itself. I think you just need to know we're there and that we're an alternative. If folks want to be in the area and can't find something under 4, it's even hard to find that now. You know, at least for a nicely built home. And these are very well-equipped homes as well. So you'd be very proud to show it. Anyone be proud to live in it. It's not just a basic box starter home. Anybody have any questions at all?
So you said you've sold 40 in the last 7.5 months?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And so we're coming to the point now where then takes on average about 5 months to build a home. So when you start getting enough quorum of folks moved in and enough green grass going down the block, we've got sidewalks both sides of the street, 2 trees in the front yard, extra brick on the sides and rear, we call it a water table, and the first few feet of the sides and rear. So it gives a very finished, polished look to the community, and you can already tell it's taking shape. So again, it really does make your job easier. You don't have to be the expert on every little detail. You know, we're there to help you with it so that we can put our heads together and hopefully get you to a bottom line quicker. Question?
How big are your lots?
They average 58 feet wide and 110 feet deep, about 1/5 of an acre. There are exceptions to that, depending on, you know, if it's in a cul-de-sac or what have you. We've still got a real nice assortment of possibilities, including some heavily wooded basement home sites that are just gorgeous.
Are there 3-car options, 3 garage?
I don't have a 3-car garage home per se in this price range. It's tougher because then you end up kind of squeezing out a lot of the first floor. But, you know, something if we get enough requests for, we might look into. It's just, it can be a challenge from a development standpoint. Be literally 3 garage doors and a front door is what you see. So, but we'll keep our eyes open for that.
And you do a basement on a ranch?
I don't have an opportunity to do with the basement, but I do have a bonus room, and it's a big room. It's like a 20 by 22 room with a full bath and a very large closet you can add, kind of a bonus room, game room concept as well. If we need it for storage or just
That would be
for
the
extra
third
stuff.
level.
That would be the second level to the ranch.
Wow.
Yeah, if it was in a 2-story home, say with the master bedroom up, maybe a guest bedroom on the main, then yeah, we could do a 3rd level bonus room in a couple of plans. If we just needed more square footage finished without utilizing a basement or trying to keep the budget down.
You have a ranch on site that's built?
I'm blessed to have one right now that's sold under construction. We're about to put cabinets in it.
Uh-huh.
So you can get there just by that. So, you know, in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna start to really take shape. And that obviously can be a challenge sometimes, is I may not have all 9 plans sitting right at the right stage of construction, but if we don't offer it, if we do offer the plan in another neighborhood, a lot of times I'll know where to track it down, or we use the ones that are sold and things like that. So obviously I can guide you. If you've got someone coming into town or you know is looking for something specific, call me to brainstorm a little bit. I can try to point you in the right direction. That probably will save you time in the end. Any other questions?
What's the approximate square footage for the two-story houses?
They're gonna range from, the smallest one is the Leland, at 2,370 square feet. And the largest two-story is the one at the very bottom of the price list, the Drake 2. It's 3,300 square feet in its base form. And it's probably worth noting that when you've got a two-story family room, we can turn it into another bedroom, bathroom, and in that one, you can actually add a third level and make it as large as 4,000 square feet, again, without including the basement. So each plan sometimes can have structural variations that will often meet a unique need if you're just not finding what you're looking for a client who's got a larger family or just a unique situation. We get a lot of requests for guest bedrooms on the main. You know, can be sometimes hard to find in an older home, and it's gotten to be more popular in recent years. So we really focus on that quite a bit. And of course, we've got a model home to view too, so you've got plenty of things to show and see. Come out and see me, if nothing else, just to see what we've got. And that way you'll leave that one more knowledgeable and confident in showing it yourself when you've got a client.
Do you master on the main?
We do, it's called the Magnolia. It's actually kind of a dual master suite concept, just because we've already got the ranch to cover the true one-level living. And usually that's where people prefer. If they can't find that, then they kind of realize, okay, ask for the master on the main. So we've got a little bit of both that angle covered. And again, if you've got unique situations, run them past me, because we might have a solution for you.
Who wants to get into some gift card drawings? Okay, only a third of the room, okay. Those 4 of you, pass the card. All right, pass the cards up there, Mark. What are we drawing for today?
I do. Everybody else is right. Yeah.
Give you one, yes.
Right in the back.
Nobody else needs to put their card in. Jim has put his in.
We're still lying down.
She's brand new. She is now taking her. I'm done. I'm out.
Don't say that, maybe the second.
You're done at number 1.
Settling for second tab.
All right, we've got another $25 Starbucks. I think you like Starbucks right around the corner, right? Everybody needs caffeine. I guess I got other goodies too. All right, we go up there and pick another one.
Christopher Perry.
You're gonna qualify for designation soon, Jim.
Next one is $25 from QT.
You don't need gas right now.
All right. We've got.
Joey, Joe.
Yeah, you should probably ask in 24 hours.
You're all jacked up again.
Yes.
And the last one, another QT,
That's
is
Bill, oh no.
Natalia.
I'm done.
Jim, it was a nice run while you did it.
The main speaker, director. Nothing else.
He's done. He's done. Anything else?
Any other last questions at all? We're happy to be here, please come up and see us.
Thank you guys very much. I go sell some. Make sure you sell some, so we don't reach a bubble. Go sell. Now, just put a pepper on there. All right, Mr. Jeff.
Right.
Sit down for a second. I'm gonna go on this. All right. We got a new order of business here. Here's what we're gonna be doing. This will be our new monthly money board. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off this week with drawings for the open house luncheon that we've got 3 of today. So at the beginning of each month, we're gonna have a little money board up here. It'll have anything from $1 to $100. It will have everything in between. If you attend open houses and luncheons, you will have each open house luncheon agent will be responsible for bringing those cards to the office, and we will stick them in a jar for the luncheon people. And we will draw 3 winners for the luncheon. So at each meeting at the beginning of the month, we will have the money board up here, and we will draw 3 cards from that bowl. Do you have to be in attendance to do it?
Yes.
Okay, so that will happen. We're gonna have 3 winners from each luncheon throughout the month. We'll have 2 winners for sales meetings. So by attending the sales meeting, each meeting that you attend, you will have a new entry into the drawing for the money board. So everybody, I need you to pass your card over here to Lewis. And we'll start. Look at it this way. Next week we're taking off the money board.
I don't understand.
Yes, would you please pass it over? This covers the new order of business for the money board, monthly money board, which we're starting next week. I can't hear you guys. I think you've lost control. And then we're also going to have monthly winners for the GCI, gross commission income, off the closings for each month, and unit sales. So each month we will have 2 winners for the gross commissions and for the units that will also get to participate in the monthly money board. So,
Thank you.
oh, by the way, you have to be present to take advantage of any of these.
Yes.
Yes. So what happens if you're not present? You don't win. That's the bottom line. You get nothing. That means hey, but you lost us. Yeah. So you got to be present to win.
Hey, is
Yes,
online
that's the bottom line. Robert, you got anything you want to add?
Terry, does online presence count? You have to be in this room.
If you have something that's very specific, that you cannot be in attendance, just like we did with the Augusta, Kathleen. We did a FaceTime thing. But you gotta have a good reason for not being here. It can't be, I got stuck at home doing my hair and my nails. Now, if you have a closing, step out of closing, we'll FaceTime you in at that specific time. But we're working on it. So yes, real life will happen, and you actually sometimes will not be able to make it in here. We will FaceTime, we'll make accommodations.
And then did you talk about the luncheons? So we're gonna ask them to have their flyer in by Friday. Ira will post it on Facebook. If you will send me a friend request, then I will go and send it back to you where it will show up on your page. I'm not looking at your personal picture, but it'll make you organically rise up, and you'll get better views than if you post your own luncheon. Does that make sense?
The other thing we're gonna do is we want you to go like our Facebook page, because we're going to be honoring and acknowledging things for listings, for people that have good successful months and things like that. So we will tag you if we have the ability to, but if you have not gone and liked our page, we don't have the ability to go like you. So make sure you give us Hyro, and that we've got you centered up on there so that when you have something noteworthy, we can post out there and all your friends will know about the success that you're having without you posting it out there. So it'll give you a lot more traction that way.
So, Mr. Swanson, did we have someone new on our Facebook page last night?
We did.
Oh, am I already late to that until our meeting did?
Well, no, but she won. She won. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and?
Sure. My name is Yaju, and I have a bachelor's degree in architecture, and my major is interior design. And I have an MBA degree too, but right now I'm in real estate. I'm brand new, no experience, so let's see how it goes.
For starters, I'd say it's going pretty good. You won the first drawing, so hey, cool.
It's not fair.
And Ms. Small, I'm assuming that's not Carolyn Waters, that is to your right?
That's true. This is our new team member, Kathleen.
Kelly.
I mean Kelly, I'm sorry.
She's that
Kelly, you mentioned pulling together, because we know when Kim pulls up in the office, calls Rose, here's her front tire, hit the curb and jump.
I was just texting with Kathleen. I am, but we're real excited to have Kelly. You might want to.
Yeah, so I've introduced myself to a couple people. I am a newbie, new completely to real estate. I've been in sales for all my life, so the sales part is kind of, hopefully I'll be able to carry some of that forward. But yeah, so I passed everything and should have my hard license in hand today or tomorrow, so.
Lewis said, is Carolyn not working with her anymore? Is the answer, what is the answer? Yes, she is now working with Kim and Carol.
And Phil, what is Carolyn doing this morning so that she can't be here?
I don't know, but it's.
She's at closing.
I think she's doing her hair.
Or showing.
I be showing your list.
That's right. I didn't want to do it.
Robert, really?
It wasn't on my list.
Wake up!
All right, anything
No, I think I'm done.
So, I also want to acknowledge Stacy. Stacy, will you raise your hand? Well, we all let her, what happens on Tuesdays from 10 to 11? What do we have? So Stacy comes in today and she goes, oh my God, what's going on? We're having some special festival.
Give her
She's
Give a 9-month pass.
We have Keith in the back. Keith is visiting us again. He's starting his real estate career off, and he's trying to make a decision of where to place his license. We hope that you do make a decision to come on board here, but if not, I recognize that you might not like the people that are in here. It has nothing to do with me, it's just all that. I respect that. No. Welcome, Keith, and we hope that you make the right decision, which will be here, so.
Thank you.
Keith, if not, we're gonna go beat you at every single listing presentation.
Wait, I have a second that. Welcome, John.
So on the Century 21 Facebook page, Hyro, you sent out an email last Thursday or Friday, did everybody get that?
Yes.
And it's just that easy. If you have trouble liking it, we're really gonna try to push that forward. We have been doing a third-party service and just kind of let it go on autopilot. And that's not really the way to run that if you're gonna be doing it. So we're gonna be taking some ownership with it and have some good energy on there. But the key thing is, if you want to get recognition without you putting your own information out there to your friends, let us do it for you. And that's gonna be the magic pill that we all can win together on that. So, any questions on this new formation and stuff? So make sure that you have your cards up here by Lewis. Lewis, would you give those to Robert? Okay. So next week, yeah, good deal. That's why I'm going to get one card. Next week, we'll start the monthly money board for these variables right here. So make sure you come. All right, we're going to get into some things that I hope that you will take some of these slides, maybe one or two of them, you go, hey, you know, middle note, I need to go back. I'm sorry, before I get into that, Jeff, let's go back to you. Come on up about the mortgages.
What a great segue.
Yes.
And Keith, make the right choice, buddy. Okay, if anything I say offends you, just, walk out right now. Just kidding. No, anyways, I passed around some flyers here. I know Heather Rose no longer works here. This is about a year old. But I figured I didn't want to show any favoritism, so That's not pretty neutral, right? Anyways, if you look at the rates on this flyer I gave out, pretty similar to the rates today, and this is almost exactly a year ago. If you look at the 30-year fixed, the purchase price on this was $419. If you look in the middle of the page there, 10% down. The rate was 4.125. We had a little illustration of seller concessions, prepaids, closing costs. Give them an idea what their cash to close would be, monthly payment with taxes, insurance, the PITI. So it's a pretty cool little breakdown here, and we give them 3 different options: 30-year fixed, 10%, 20%, and then ARM too. Kind of give them something a little lower in payment. So I can make these little doodads for you if you want them, need them. They're going to help you sell the house. It's got a lot of information. You put 5 different pictures of the house in there. I can pull all of this off MLS.
We didn't get any extra copies.
Oh, yeah,
We don't have any.
I wrote people on it. There we go. That's how the roads pictures back.
Louis, I have a comment for those of you in the back. What was that, Louis?
Sit in the front.
He said, stop complaining. He said, they didn't stop complaining. Sit in the front.
Well taken.
I can print these in color. Obviously, I just wanted to print them off to give you an idea what they look like, but they look really good in color. It's got your contact information, ours as well. Some people may grab this and want to get quotes or even just get pre-qualified for the house before they even talk to the agent about price and all that. So I'm also going to order some more of those yard signs, not the actual riders too, but the yard signs. Some of your signs don't fit the riders on it. So just some things that can help drum up business as far as buyers, help you with your listings. But back to the rates are pretty much what's on the sheet currently. 30-year fixed rates have been right around 4% to 4.125 on 30-year money. 15-year fixed money's been 3.375, 3.25. In the ARMs, as you can see, the 7-year ARMs around 3.25. So as far as the sheet, but stock market, you probably noticed your 401ks took a little bit of a hit here. Dow Jones went down to like 17.4, and it was as high as 18.1 just a week ago.
Are you
So
trying to depress us?
I'm trying to help.
It's gonna rise, Dave.
It's good for rates, right? You get a better rate, take a hit on your 401k, make more money on your 401k, rates go up, kind of a balancing act. So the other thing, Case Shiller numbers will come out. Can you remind them what Case Shiller is, Eric?
I probably don't even need to, do I?
What is the
I can
Case
probably say,
Shiller?
Phil, go ahead and tell me what Case Shiller is.
It's an index, yeah, I'll tell you that.
Is Atlanta, anybody want to take a stab at the Case Shiller index and what it means? Joe?
It measures, it follows exact properties over different types of well too, and looks at how properties progress or degress, I guess, versus their value over set periods of time.
What are the two different? One, where does it go back to? What time period does it track from? When did it come into action?
A year ago.
It's year over year, but it's also, it started, actually, it's not a year over year thing, it is
January?
January of 2000
That's what I did.
is when it started.
That's
So
about
that
it.
basically gives you a goose egg, that's 0, January of 2000. And what it does is it measures a home's value today, the same home compared to what it was in January of 2000. So that was a 0, or let's say 100. We got up to 170, we got one of the charts here that'll show it. Here's a question, so it's based off homes values and how much they have gone up since that period of time. What? It is Atlanta in the index.
Yes.
Yes, you got 2 different indexes. One is a 10-city composite, the other is a 20-city. We are in the 20-city composite. So as you look at them, you want to pay closer attention to the 20-city composite because that is the one that Atlanta is in. Sorry, Jeff, go ahead. Keep on.
No, we're good. So Feds are going to be having a 2-day meeting coming up here, and they're going to be talking a lot about what they're going to do with interest rates. Word on the street, and obviously we've heard about this for a while, is that they're going to do a raise to the prime rate here. They're actually talking about doing a double whammy, and maybe do two in a row. So we may see a 50 basis point hike in prime rate, which obviously is going to push everything else up. So he talked about the housing bubble. We may see the rate bubble burst here soon. So May not be, but the rates may end up going up near the end of the year, so if you got people on the fence ready to make a move, now's the time, so.
Back in 2006, 2007, when they started bumping up the rate, every single time that they met, they raised the rate at least 1/4 to 0.5% of the price. It went up from, bank money went from 4% up to 8.5% was what the rates went up to on short-term lending. So how much of a difference can that make? Well, if they do back to back, it's gonna be a substantial difference psychologically to people, and we'll see what happens from there, but it's going to happen at some point. So.
Yeah, who can tell us where prime rate is now? 3.25. 3.25, so, you know, it's the lowest it's been. It's been there for about 7 years. They haven't made any adjustments to it, but we're gonna start seeing that again, so. Anyways, from last meeting, I sent out the Fidelity app. If anybody didn't get it that wants it, send me an email. You can do payment quotes on it. It gives you mortgage news. It's got an ugly picture on the app, but it goes on your phone. It's got a picture of me. You didn't get it? Okay, if anybody wants the app, it's a really good tool when you're out in the market. If a borrower says, hey, what would my PMI be on this house? Or what would my payment be for a $300,000? Don't know if I can afford it. I have my own app with Fidelity. I can, basically, I think the only way you can download it is for me to text it to you. So if you give me your name and cell phone number, I'll go ahead and text it over to you. You just download it onto your phone, and anytime you click on it, you can go in and do scenarios for the borrower, so it's a good tool to have as well.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so give you 20 seconds if you're on here. Phil, Corona, 20 seconds, promote it.
Great house. It's in a luxury lake community at the end of Bethel Road. It was a custom-built home, older couple. They are relocating to move to Orlando, and they are very eager to sell. It shows like new construction. Harbor Shores throughout Maine. Hope you can come. Great backyard, suitable for a pool.
If anybody needs directions to it, I think it was just right out on. Maureen and Kelly are not here, but I don't think they need to be. Tacos and tequila. That's long. I'm going there. Pass on to the next one. Mr. Henniger.
Yes, sir.
What would you like to sing the praises of this wonderful home?
It's a beautiful custom-built home in Creekstone, built by the owner, and it's got all kinds of toys in it. The guy's like a woodworker. He's got a workshop with industrial vacuums in it for sucking out sawdust, and he's got the air pump like they've got at the gas station. 5 different stations throughout that room where you can hook up your tools. Very fun house. And then there's a cottage at Creekstone with a finished basement. It's got 5,000 square feet, and we've got directions at the first house how to get to the second house. We've got 2 $50 drawings for gift cards, and that's about it. But I would go to
lunch for that.
Rosati's.
Okay.
And I would go there first because it's right here 5 minutes away, and then we'll head to the lake.
Now that's a good one. 5 minutes down the road, then you can go to the other ones. Okay, remember, agents that have it, Phil, Alex, everybody that goes needs to leave a card. We'll have 3 drawings. So that means if you go to each one of the luncheons today, you'll be in for 3 drawings next Tuesday. So make sure you leave your cards, and if you guys can bring the cards in here, we'll put those in the bucket. That's for 4. We're packaging up 1 with Alex, and it is kind of cheating, but that's okay. All right, so if you'll pull out this sheet right here, there's some interesting information. This is hot off the press for June numbers. So this is FMLS statistics through June. I put out little notes out by the side. If you don't have one of these, this one that says FMLS up top.
Here's extra. Everybody have one? I need two. Oh, just one. Just one?
I put wow. On the first one, there were 6,543 closings for residential detached in June 2015. This represents an increase of 17%. Why is that wow? 17% over last June. Why would that be a wow in my opinion?
Wow. Wow.
Is this a good number?
Investors were still buying in the market last June. Investors have totally retreated pretty much from the market.
So now we're in a total retail type situation. So the retail buyers are the ones that have bought the majority of the homes versus the investors that are sucking things up left and right out there. So you've seen a tremendous shift in the market over the last year. And that's why I thought, wow, it's like, wow, we are being led by retail buyers. And that's a big, big thing. So prices have gone through the roof and the demand has continued to rise. Well, we saw a little blip, so what is that going to do? The average price for residential detached was $286 versus $269. That was for June. That's a pretty significant jump. And then also under the year-to-date 2015 sales, there were 30,000 closings for residential detached year-to-date with an increase of 12% over 2014. I'm saying that's phenomenal because it's a totally retail buyer.
Is this Forsyth?
No, this is all of Atlanta.
Oh, all of it.
Now look here, the residential detached sales price year-to-date through June, you got 8% increase year-to-date 2015 versus year-to-date 2014. Watch out for this. Now at the bottom, June 2015, active inventory overview. I underline continues to increase. Here's what you're seeing happen out there, guys. Prices have gone up, they've gone up, they've gone up. Demand has gone up, but at some point in time, that demand is going to level off and the supply continues to rise. It's not going to take much, and I'm going to give you one neighborhood. I always track all the Atlanta Club just to kind of see how's that going. It's a good mid-price neighborhood from the 3s to the 5s. The inventory on Atlanta Club has gone from about 8 or 9 about 4 months ago to 20 in 3 to 4 months. We saw a little blip in the demand over the last month and a half, and all of a sudden you've had people continue to put their homes on the markets out there. So all of a sudden what we're seeing is the stellar, incredibly emotional homes are the ones that are selling for the dollar, and the ones that are not, that stellar, emotionally connected thing for the dollar, they're starting to sit. And you're going to start to have this, and as we go into the fall months, it's going to be something that you are going to need to absolutely get on because people's expectations, one of the charts that we're going to go over here, it shows appraisers' values versus people's expectations. And it goes back about 1 to 2 years ago, and it shows that 1 to 2 years ago, the values that the appraisers were assigning was higher than what the owners thought it was. Now today it's shifted. The appraisals are coming out lower than what the people's perspective of what their homes were worth. So also we're seeing this little shift that people's expectations of what their home is worth is greater than what the reality is. So are you going to be in control of that conversation, or are they? Pull out the MLS stats here. Thank you, Van Johnson, for bringing these to me. This goes back to 2009. Here's what I want you guys to look at. Go to the May line on both of these. In May, the top one is month to month. So in May, you had 5,243. Just go across there and look at how it's increased slightly, and then all of a sudden you had this little boom. All right, so this year we had 8,594 sales in MLS for all of Atlanta. Back in May of 2009, there were 5,243. Last year there was 7,800. That's some pretty phenomenal increases right there. So interesting stuff. Down at the bottom one, that's year to date. Look at the through May, January through May, 23,000 in 2009, and this year we are up to 34,000. That's a huge increase in volume. So pay attention. We are back to numbers of the mid-2000s. So somewhere around 2005, 2006 of production. Values have gone up to 2005, 2006 across the country. What is that going to do to people's perspective? I've started to hear people go, oh, we're at the housing bubble, we're gonna have we're right at the point that we're gonna go straight on back down. And I was at someone's house last night and they started talking that, and I'm going, I don't believe that. I don't. And we're gonna cover some things here that when you look at what led us into that demise, is not exactly where we are today. The values have skyrocketed in our pocket, in my assessment. The demand has started to level off, not go down. The demand is kind of leveling off, which we all should have expected. There's no way you can just keep the prices going up in an area and have the same demand keep going up and up and up. It's just inconsistent with reality. So right now today, there's a lot more mortgage credit available. This goes back to April of 2013, which you can see there really was not a lot. And as the market has gotten more confident, more people have gotten more expressive in the different ways to get loans and how they're spreading across the board, people and getting more people in the pool. It has gone up significantly from just the end of last year. And I think
it's gonna continue to get better. You got anything that you want to say on that, Jeff?
They've got new programs. You guys have heard of the 3% down conventional loan they have now, and so they're loosening the guidelines up a little bit. You know, there's something else that we put out that's going to help borrowers too. As far as borrowers that do write off a lot of stuff, non-reimbursed business expenses, we don't have to count those against them anymore. Those were deal killers. We would get their tax returns and they wrote off $5,000 a year, and so we calculate that in and take that away from their income. They didn't qualify, so now all of a sudden they're loosening up. So some of those guidelines is going to help what people qualify.
This just says 36 renters in the 168 large metros with 2014 price data could afford a 30-year mortgage rate on a medium-priced home in their areas, assuming 5% down payment. Among the key 25 to 34-year-old age group, the share was somewhat higher at 42%. There's going to be a big opportunity there with renters and getting them out there. This suggests that perceived financial and credit barriers to home ownership are a crucial driver for some individuals are renting or why they're renting, whether they're owning, despite the stated preference of many renters for home ownership. 30-year fixed rate mortgages. I found some of these to be very interesting and telling. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were talking about what would happen if the interest rates jumped up just 1%. And how real is that? What would that do to your business? And this goes back from April to July, just in this year, because what happens is you kind of get all the things and you forget how recent things have shifted so quickly. But it went back down to 3.65, and now it's up to 4.1. What did the rate say, Jeff? 4.125, 4.25?
Right, 4.125.
That's a significant jump just from April. What are we going to do if all of a sudden we keep seeing that? And I'm going to tell you, when you go through this and you see all the areas are increasing in price, demand is still very strong. What's the government going to do? They're going to start releasing all the things that they've been keeping things in check for low interest rates. They're going to say, hey, we're going too fast in the right direction. We don't need to keep doing those things. They're going to relax on them. Interest rates are going to go up. It's going to freak some people out. Be prepared. Mortgage surge. This is very interesting. Back in 2013, the orange line represents 2013. A 1% increase in 2013. What did that do for sales? Well, right now we're trending pretty darn close to what that 2013 line was. What do you think happened when the interest rate spiked up 1%? Well, I'll show you in just a second. Right here. Mortgage rate spiked back in 2013, and all of a sudden, the demand followed. So what happened was people said that were waiting, they said, oh, we're going to go ahead and buy now. So you had this surge of a 2-month window of sales that would have been buying the next 2 months. They surged in. It happened at the time that we're right now going into August, September, October, November. I looked at this chart and I thought, wow, this is kind of like the gas prices. In the summertime, it goes up as people. I looked at this and I thought, what's going to happen to our fall market? What's going to happen if our interest rates continue to tick up a little bit more? What do you think will happen?
People will put off buying.
People will put off buying, or they'll accelerate their buying, which is going to mean the next 2 months might be very difficult. If those people say, we're going to buy in the next 2 months, they all accelerated like they did in the years past, and all of a sudden it could drop down, and you could be looking at going, what are we going to do for a fall and winter buyer to stimulate things out there? Just something to think about. And when I went back and I saw this, I go, hey, you know what? We talked about this 3 to 4 weeks ago. How relevant was that conversation? Very relevant, and I think that I would really be starting to kind of, what I'm hoping that you guys do is take a sentence out of this. Go share it with your friends on the FMLS stuff. Use the MLS stuff. Use one of these charts. I'd be taking off about 3 or 4 of these charts for buyers that are going, we'll wait till next year, we'll wait. Get them off the fence and get them in the game today. Existing home prices, even in the South, 8.2%, the West, 10.2%. I went out to California this about a week and a half ago. I could not believe how much the home values have gone up. I mean, it's crazy what they're paying for in homes out there. Nuts. I came back in and go, why would I ever go move it? You couldn't afford it. You know what gas prices were out in California? $4.30. You want all of the gas prices today were $4.30 here. And by the way, does anybody know why? Why is there such a difference between California and Atlanta?
It's tax structure.
But the taxes couldn't add $1.50 on the.
Their gas is under particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's $1.50 difference.
Yeah. Tesla's right.
Hey, we are a green office here, by the way.
It says Tesla lobby.
So I'm having, if you've got an electric car, we're having an outlet put in the kitchen. You can charge up here.
At the park in the kitchen.
I don't know why I got a sudden urge to do that. But I did also learn we had an outlet out there. Okay.
You can bill it to the building, that's why.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray.
So the question of the day is, are we at the beginning point of the pricing bubble?
We're all getting Teslas.
Yeah, let's all get Tesla. A price bubble is a rise in price based on the expectation that the price will rise. I kind of laughed at this. I'm like, an economist wrote this. And read that sentence. A price bubble is a rise in price based on the expectation that the price will rise. Really?
It's bullshit.
Sounds like a yogi hero.
Sooner or later, something happens to our confidence in continued price increases, at which point the bubble bursts and prices drop. What makes it a price bubble is that the cause of the price increase is an expectation that the price will increase, which sooner or later must reverse itself.
That's the word school.
Ingenious.
Take a little.
That's all satin jackets.
That is the professor of lighting. So this is the point. I'm talking to agents that are talking with sellers that they just keep wanting to increase that price. Well, the neighbors sold for this. My home's nicer, so I know I'm going to price it up here. And we're seeing neighborhoods reach price points that they haven't had since 2006. And then the people keep wanting to go up and up and up above that, even though they have not done the things to their home to get it really above the home that's sold at the highest price. And so all of a sudden it's going to look like, here's what will happen in the next coming months. Prices are going to have to be dropped because the expectations of the sellers were higher than what the market really was. And the agents did not have control over the people, and so they let them artificially put the price there that should never have. And then those homes are going to be dropped down, which neighbors are going to start talking, going, we're going in reverse again. So it's going to start happening. As opposed to being in control of the pricing and getting it done right to begin with. And so it's going to be an interesting game, yes, sir.
Is there still some appraisal issues in cases like that? Or have they appraisers caught up with values?
I still think FHA and VA, there might be some, but we have not seen as many on conforming and conventional ones.
I have one.
All right, no time. And I do want to point this out too. We had two of this happen in the last week. A week or a day before the closing, and the sellers decided that they were not going to sell.
That's ugly. They can't do that.
They can.
They want to
I
pay.
didn't do anything.
So, I want to bring it out to you guys because Gary's representing one, Gary. And the guy, the closing is supposed to happen today. It's a $450,000 deal. Do you think that means a lot to Gary?
Yes.
That's a big paycheck. That's $13,500 that Gary was expecting to be coming in his world yesterday. Brings in a letter from the sellers that says, I'm so sorry, we've got a financial situation and we're not going to sell, we're going to breach the contract, and gosh, we're sorry. Tell you what, we're so nice and we feel bad about this. We're going to pay for the appraisal and the home inspection. True, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
So, we called the buyer to find out what was the buyer's response to that, because some people would say if it's a real life situation, you know what, I can go find another home. Not many people, it's just one day out of closing, because what happens?
Because they're packed up.
They've already had their moving stuff going on, they've had their expectations, they're like, their plans, they're in another state. So 14 hours away from here.
Yeah.
So do you think that they're irritated at this point? Oh, by the way, they also have money. It was a cash deal, so they've got money to pay for an attorney to go wreak some havoc in somebody's world. And to me, you got a broker that probably does not force upon the people that it says in the contract that the party that basically breaches the contract or defaults, it says immediately in the paragraph, immediately is to pay the commissions in full to the brokers, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So I could not believe that the guy actually wrote a letter stating we're going to breach the contract. Wow. So the other broker, when I talked to him, seemed pretty weak. So I'm gonna tell you guys this. In a situation like that, you'll have, it's weird because like 2 in 1 week. We had one in Laurel Springs, Heather Meyer was working with, and the people said, my job might be being terminated in 6 months. We're not gonna move to Colorado now. And they actually settled and wrote a check for $17,000. Wow. To get out of the contract.
Wow.
Now, we could have sued for commission. We ended up negotiating with the commission. That was all Heather's control. But the buyers ended up getting a check directly from the sellers, and they lost $15,000 on the home they're buying out of Colorado. Those deal kills cost them $32,000. So that, I would say, hey, they made restitution. It might not be what we wanted it to be, but the reality is that's what you see happen. The Hennekers, you mind if I? Sure. So, I mean, you got to know what's going on because we've got a lot of different situations. They had a person that was a friend of theirs in their neighborhood. And they bought, somebody bought their home that the Hennekers brought to the table and then extended the conversation with the seller after the listing expired. And we found that they actually ended up buying the home from some random thing that happened from somebody that they knew that lived in the community, had some connection with the association. So when the people came through, they, oh, wait, I think this is the people you're working with. So it was a kind of weird thing of how that came to be. We've reached out to the seller, and they're going to be meeting. That could be a $40,000 difference in their year. Pretty phenomenal. The seller is definitely in default if they want to go after him in court. It should be a pretty open and shut case. $40,000. This one, 13.5 yesterday. We're going through. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I told the other broker, I said we are going to sue for commission. Period. In the discussion, the buyer is going to sue the living pants off of your seller. And they need to know that, and they wrote a letter from their attorney. They got right on and said it's going to be at least $25,000 if you go down this road, and we're going to get you. So I want to bring that up because we're seeing weird things happen. That's 3 in the last week that's been brought to my attention, which is way more than we typically have. I don't know if it's something in the air or the water out there, but we are seeing different things today than we've not really had to deal with in a long time. So be careful out there. Always get things in writing. Here's your S&P Case-Shiller Index. Shows you right now. Now this is the country. This is not Atlanta. This is the United States prices. It says that right now, based off the Case-Shiller Index, before that comes out today. This is not today. It says that we're back to January, February of 2005 as a country of home values. The bubble, you can see right up there, that is where 2007 prices dropped, came down. You look back over here, that goes back to January of 2000. That reflects a home's price at that point in time was 100% of the value. So let me give you an example. If a home was worth $200,000 in January of 2000, then when we went up to the peak, when it got up to about 185, how much would that home be worth? A $200,000 home in January. Case index went up to 185. What would that home be worth at that point in time?
370? Double. Yeah, it almost doubled based on.
Yeah, little less than 400.
What would it be?
400 or 380. 375.
200 times 1 point.
Well, let me put it this way. If a home was 100,000, we're going to easy math. If a home was 100,000, then at the time that the market was at 185, that means the home was worth 185,000. Right. So we'll keep it simple today. If a home was worth 100,000, it went up over the years to 185 in value. It dropped down to about 145, the same exact home. Now it's back up to about $170,000. So let me ask you this. Do you think real estate's the best investment long-term over time? Even the people that bought back in 2000, their home is worth a lot more than what it was back then. It's always been on real estate. This is a good index, and we'll know, is the index coming out today? So next week, we'll bring out what the case show was to see what change it did. Is it going to continue to rise, level off, or what? I'm going to bet it's going to rise. I don't really see things as a bubble. If you look at price to income ratios, which is the most important thing, they're really not out of bounds in any way they were during the boom. What got us to the boom was loans were too easy. You could be a waitress that just came over from another country, be here 6 months, have an 800 credit score, even though you have no basis. You could do a stated income as a waitress and say, I'm going to make $150,000 next year, and they take that with no data to back it and an 800 credit score based off 6 months payment history. Those are the type of loans that were going on out there to people that there's no way on this planet they could have afforded to buy the homes they were buying. That's what started us in the mess that we got into. We are not there. So what I need you guys to do is take some of this information and turn around and update your friends, update your clients, update your listings, get prices tight, get prices where they should be, get the home sold, don't wait for fall. Are there any questions out there? All y'all ready to go out there and do some damage?
Yes.
Yes.
Are all y'all gonna go get your cards in for those 3 luncheons, 4 luncheons, what we'll count Alex's as one? Alex and Phil, you gonna collect those cards and bring them back in here so next week we can do the monthly money board? And Kim, what do you wanna do to finish up the meeting?
I'm Kim Chapman, a lot of you know me, and there's a lot of you here that don't. Who in here knows what I do? Shout out.
We really love that.
Insurance.
Insurance.
All right, Jim said it first. If I ask you what you do, what would you say?
What I did,
What do you do?
I'm a realtor. I sell homes.
That's boring. That's boring. Being an insurance agent is boring. I'm not an insurance agent. What I do is help people manage everyday risk. And that's a lot more than just selling insurance. What's the biggest risk that we all take every day?
Driving a car.
That's a good answer. We all took it to get here, right? Unless you ran or planned or something like that. So, all right, so I have a story about one of our clients that I helped do that not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago. He was with State Farm, bought a new house, went with State Farm, and then he changed over to us shortly after he bought his house. And so obviously we did his car insurance on top of his home insurance. So he called me week before last, and he said, Kim, and he called me up at night on my cell phone because all my customers have my cell phone number. They call me at night sometimes, which is fine. And so he said, Kim, I got a problem. I was driving down the road today and a rock hit my windshield, broke it. What am I gonna do? He said, oh, on top of that, my wife's car had a problem with her windshield. Never heard this story before, if anybody else has. There was, the heat apparently caused the rearview mirror to fall off. It broke the metal piece that holds the rearview mirror on the windshield. It fell, and there was a hole in the windshield. So he says, what am I gonna do? And I said, well, sounds to me like you have 2 comprehensive claims. What's that gonna cost me? It's a good thing for you, when I recommended that you do a 0 deductible on your comprehensive, you took that. It's not gonna cost you a dime. If that happened to you, how much would it cost you? Does everybody in here know what it would cost them? $100. $250. A lot of people, $500. It just so happens that the client that happened to sitting in the room, he doesn't have to identify himself if he doesn't want to. But yeah, he had a $500 deductible, so that would have cost him whatever the 2 windshields cost him. You really wouldn't have had any coverage.
Out of curiosity, is it a bald man with glasses?
Yes. So, anyway, the thing is, check your policy, see what you've got, see if you've got the protection that you need. There's a lot of other levels of protection that are could be even more catastrophic than broken windshield. Obviously, that's hundreds of dollars problem. There are thousands of dollars of problems that a lot of people have on their policy with liability coverage. So that's the biggest thing that I try to do is help people take a look at those risks and make sure, we deal with homes here, obviously, but sitting at home on your couch watching television is not the biggest risk you take every day. Is out there on the road. So,
Thank you.
Thanks for the example.
So I brought to Richard Carter, like, no.
Well, you seen your car lately?
Is that your car in the back? No. With the light? No. Oh my God, you should see that. So, y'all make it a productive day, support the luncheons, be here next week for the monthly money ball, and y'all have a fantastic day. Thank you, Terry.